In today's episode, we're going to venture into the alchemical journey, the ultimate quest for inner gold. And the alchemical journey is for anyone seeking to break free from the chains of fear and limitation, to awaken to their true power and live a life of purpose, freedom, and inner peace. This tale will inspire you to explore the peaks of your own consciousness and realize that the greatest treasure lies not in what you achieve, but in who you become. This is your invitation. Become the alchemist of your life. You decode your heaven on earth and go through the alchemical process. The alchemist is a master of himself so that he can master life. People thought alchemists were turning lead into gold, but they're really crystallizing their soul into form. Alchemize your golden potential. Welcome to the Golden Life. Welcome to the Golden Life. My name's David Gilbert, and today this is a special episode. I'm going to read the 3 first chapters of the Alchemical Journey, the ultimate quest for inner gold, to see if you are ready to embark upon your own alchemical journey. So with that, let's get started. Forward. The ancient path of alchemy, passed down through the ages, offers a journey of inner transformation for those brave enough to look beyond the surface. This is no fairy tale. It is a living, breathing process available to anyone bold enough to take the first step. And I'll be honest, my hope today is that you become brave enough to take this first step. This journey is known as the magnum opus, or the great work, and unfolds in 3 sacred phases. Understanding these phases will guide you through the transformative path that lies ahead. First is Nigredo, the blackening. This is where everything that is false must be stripped away. You will descend into the shadows where old identities dissolve and the illusions you once clung to are broken down. It is a necessary darkness, the space where all transformation begins. Then comes Albdeo, the whitening. As the old self dissolves, something new begins to emerge. This is the phase of purification, where clarity dawns and the soul is washed clean. Here you begin to glimpse the higher truth that lies beyond the veils of illusion. It is a time of revelation, where the light begins to return. Finally, there is Rubedo, the reddening. This is the culmination of the alchemical process, the integration of spirit and matter, the unification of all that you are. In Rubedo, you will embody the transformation. The gold you seek is not something external. It is the essence of your true self, now fully realized and ready to shine. These 3 phases are not just ancient symbols, they are a roadmap for the journey you're about to undertake. As you move through the story, you will encounter each stage in its own time. But remember, alchemy is not about rushing. The great work requires patience, trust, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. The journey ahead will ask you to let go of what you think you know and surrender to the deeper wisdom that lies beneath. If you are ready, the path of transformation will reveal itself to you. It may not look like what you expect, but the treasure waiting at the end is more valuable than anything you can imagine. This is your invitation to embark on the alchemical journey. Are you ready to begin? Chapter 1. The Black Phase. Nigredo. Purification. The mountain often hides within it the magic we have been asking for all along. Brianna West. The Golden Invitation. Life had always felt predictable. Each morning, a familiar fog seemed to wrap around him as he rose from bed, stepping into the mechanical rhythm of the day. Work, sleep, repeat. He lived on a loop, trapped in unspoken expectations and ceaseless demands, where comfort had become a cage. His dreams of something more, an adventure, a purpose, remained whispers in the back of his mind, muffled by the weight of routine. But this morning, something was different. As he went to walk out his front door, an object caught his eye. Something he hadn't realized before, a small golden envelope. His breath caught in his throat as he reached for it, fingers unknowingly trembling as they touched its surface. Warmth spread through his body, a strange sensation of familiarity, as if this moment had been waiting for him all along. He slowly unfolded the envelope. Inside was a letter and a unique square-shaped card, shimmering gold on one side while mysteriously black on the other. Inside the letter was a message. Your journey begins when you decide to step into the unknown and leave behind everything you think you know. The path awaits you at the edge of fear. Will you accept this invitation? He read the words over and over, his heart suddenly pounding. Deep inside, something stirred, a long-forgotten part of him that yearned for more than this mundane life. His hands shook as he held the card, and the pull towards something greater just within his reach. But then he glanced at his watch. He was going to be late for work. With a sigh, he stuffed the card into his bag, burying the moment beneath the weight of his responsibilities. Life called him back into the familiar, to the predictable rhythm he'd grown accustomed to, and he let the envelope slip into the shadows of his daily routine. Seasons passed, and nothing changed. He moved through the days in the same mechanical rhythm: work, sleep, repeat. But each time he brushed by his bag, a faint memory tugged at him, something he couldn't quite place. And then, one morning, as he reached for his bag, it slipped from his grasp and he hit the floor. The contents spilled out, and there, gleaming in the light, was the golden card. As he picked it up, an ache swelled within him. He realized that he had spent multiple seasons, months and months of his life, doing exactly the same thing. The dreams of something more have drifted further into the background, muffled by distraction and routine. He stared at the card, feeling the weight of lost time press down on him. This wasn't just curiosity stirring inside of him now. It was a deeper knowing, a realization that he couldn't keep going like this. The fear of being stuck, of living this same day over and over, settled over him, heavier than any routine he had ever followed. He read the words again, each line sinking into him with newfound urgency. The path awaits you at the edge of fear. His heart pounded, and this time he felt it fully. He couldn't ignore it any longer. He couldn't go on living in the shadows of his own potential, trapped by fear and habit. He made a vow, right then and there, that he would do whatever it took to break free. The time for adventure was now. He was done being a victim to life, done hiding from the unknown. He would step forward, ready to embrace the journey that awaited. The invitation wasn't just an opportunity, it was a calling. And this time, he was ready to answer it. Chapter 2. Meeting the Alchemist. Following the words of the card, he set off on a journey. Days passed in blur of excitement and doubt, his mind racing with questions about where the path would lead him. Every few steps he questioned if he was making a mistake. But his feet kept moving forward, drawn forward by an invisible force that felt older than time itself. As he ventured, he had weird synchronicities fall upon his path. An odd toy that reminded him of his childhood, a rainbow that seemed to shimmer with no signs of water nearby. These moments relieved some of the tensions he was feeling, as if omens were leading the way. Finally, just as a butterfly flew by, the hero arrived at the edge of a great forest. Something came into focus. He saw a figure standing by a small fire. Cloaked in a black robe, with a necklace that sparkled flashes of gold, the figure's blue eyes glimmered in the firelight. They were unlike anything he'd ever seen, both ancient and timeless, with a wisdom that seemed to span across the stars. "Welcome," the figure said, voice calm and steady. "I've been waiting for you." "Who are you?" he asked, instinctively knowing this is no ordinary person. The figure smiled, a soft warmth spreading across their face. "I am the Alchemist, and you, my friend, are about to embark on a journey unlike any other. A journey not through distant lands or over great seas, but within, to the peaks of your own consciousness." The hero felt a rush of emotions, fear, excitement, confusion. "Why me? Why now?" The alchemist nodded knowingly. "Because you are ready. You received the invitation because the time has come for you to discover who you truly are, beyond the illusions of this world. The only question left is, will you trust yourself enough to take the first step?" The hero hesitated, then with a deep breath, nodded. "I'm ready." "Before we embark, you must promise me one thing," the alchemist said. The hero's throat constricted. Trembling, he asked, "What is it you ask of me?" You must be totally committed, yet fully surrender every step of the way, the alchemist said. The hero took another deep breath. I will do my best. Yet deep down, the hero had no idea if he could live up to this mysterious figure's request. Then follow me, the alchemist said, turning towards a winding mountain path in the distance. We have much to explore, and the peaks are higher than you can imagine. And so, the journey began. As they walked together, the hero couldn't shake the feeling that the mountain before him was not just a mountain, but something far more mysterious. Something deeper, a symbol, a mirror of his own mind and soul. As if reading his thoughts, the alchemist spoke again. What lies ahead is more than just a climb. We are entering a place where ordinary perception dissolves. You will face challenges, truths, and revelations that will change everything. But first, you must understand this. This journey is not about survival. It's about transmutation. Transmutation? The hero asked. The alchemist smiled. Yes, the process of turning lead into gold. But in your case, the lead is your false self, the limitations, fears, and beliefs that have held you back. And the gold is your true essence, the treasure buried deep within. They continued walking in silence, and as they did, the air around them seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light. It was as though the very fabric of reality was beginning to shift, signaling the start of something greater. Chapter 2. The climb begins. The mountain loomed large before them, its peak hidden by swirling clouds of reflected hues of gold and deep violet. The path was steep and narrow, winding around jagged rocks. With each step, the air seemed to thicken, heavy with the weight of what lay ahead. The hero glanced at the alchemist, who moved effortlessly, unbothered by the incline. "How is it so easy for you?" he asked, his breath shallow, muscles aching. The alchemist looked at him, eyes soft with understanding. "Because I'm not climbing the mountain. I am moving with it. I flow with the direction of my path. The mountain is not your enemy, it is your reflection. The resistance you feel comes from within." The words echoed in the hero's mind, but he didn't fully understand. How could he be the one creating the weight he was struggling against? As he pondered this, his foot slipped on a loose stone. He stumbled, crashing his hands and knees, the sharp edge of a rock grazing his skin. The hero winced, a surge of frustration coiling in his body. The alchemist paused and looked back at him, an amused glint in his eye. "Do not be discouraged," he said, extending a hand to help him up. "The man who trips 1,000 times is not a failure, he is a master. Each fall teaches him the art of getting up with greater wisdom and strength." The hero took the alchemist's hand, feeling the weight of the words settle over him. There was a strange comfort in the idea that stumbling was not a sign of weakness, but of progress. As he rose to his feet, his breath steadied, and the mountain's once daunting height became a path he could now tread. The alchemist continued, "Embrace each fall as a lesson, and you'll find that even the ground beneath you holds a secret. It is not your enemy, but a part of your journey. With each stumble, you learn to dance with the mountain, not against it." A small, determined smile spread across the hero's face. He nodded and took a breath, feeling a spark of resilience reignite within him. This time, as he stepped forward, he did so with awareness that falling was just another way to keep moving up. As they continued, the alchemist stopped suddenly, pointing ahead. "Look there." The hero followed his gaze and saw a small pool of water, shimmering like liquid silver. It was still, reflecting the sky perfectly, except for one thing. The hero's reflection wasn't there. Confused, he approached it, peering into the water's surface. "What is this?" he asked. "A mirror," the alchemist replied, "but not of your body, of your beliefs. Every time you look into this pool, you will see the beliefs you carried with you, the ones that hold you back from becoming who you are meant to be." The hero stared into the pool, heart pounding. "What do I do with them?" "First, you must recognize them," the alchemist said, standing beside him. "These beliefs are the lead we must transmute. Until you see them clearly, they will remain invisible chains, pulling you down." With a deep breath, the hero knelt by the pool. Slowly, shapes began to form on the surface. Fragments of his life, moments of doubt, fear, and self-sabotage. He saw himself in school, told by a teacher that he wasn't smart enough to succeed. He saw himself standing on a stage, shaking, terrified of being seen. He saw moments of failure, when every misstep felt like proof he was never meant to rise above his circumstances. The weight of it all pressed down on him, and for the first time he realized how much these beliefs had shaped his every decision. They were the invisible force behind his hesitation, his fear of stepping into the unknown. "I've carried these for so long," he whispered. And the alchemist nodded. "And now it is time to release them. We must dissolve the old before the new can take its place." Chapter 3. Dissolution. The Plunge. The hero stood at the edge of the pool, trembling. The idea of letting go of these beliefs, of everything that had defined him for so long, was terrifying. Who would he be without him? What if he wasn't enough without the familiar narratives? The alchemist's voice cut through his fear. "You must dive in." "Dive?" The hero's hearts raced. "But the water, what if I can't?" "Trust," the alchemist said softly. "This is the moment where you choose to let go, choose to surrender, to dissolve the self that no longer serves you. You are not losing anything. You are freeing yourself." With one last glance at the alchemist, the hero took a deep breath and jumped. The water swallowed him whole, and for a moment everything was cold, dark, and silent. It felt as though his breath began to burn. Panic rose in his chest, his thoughts racing as he thrashed in the depths. But slowly, he stopped fighting. Something shifted. The darkness wasn't threatening. It was comforting, like a womb. The cold wasn't biting. It was soothing, cleansing. And then, there in the depths, he felt a lightness, as though every fear, every limiting belief was being washed away. Images from his life swirled around him, dissolving into the water like ink, leaving him feeling lighter and freer with every breath. The weight of expectations, fear of failure, the need for approval, gone, dissolved into nothingness around him. And then he saw it. In the distance, shimmering like a beacon in the deep, was a treasure chest. It radiated light, pulsating with energy as if calling to him. With steady strokes, he swam towards it, reaching out until his fingers brushed the cool, smooth surface. The lock. Around the chest there was a lock, intricate, golden, and ancient, its design flowing with symbols he didn't recognize but felt were important. Something stirred in his chest, a deep, knowing pull. The lock wasn't just a barrier, it was a message. It was guarding something precious, but also teaching him that the treasure inside could only be unlocked when he was truly ready. His heart pounded as he held the lock, sensing that the key wasn't outside of him. It was within. Well, there you go. If you would like to purchase your own copy, you can visit www.goldenlife.com or hop onto Amazon and look up The Alchemical Journey, The Ultimate Quest for Inner Gold by David Gilbert. And this is your invitation to continue the journey, to really discover the gold within, because I know when you do, you will achieve new levels of freedom, of peace, of love, and you'll be a way shower of possibility in this world that needs more people to know their deepest layers of themselves, their deepest treasures and gold, and share that light with the world. Thank you for joining the journey today, and I hope this inspires you to embark on the alchemical journey and have me be your guide along the way. Stay golden and play harder.